What's going on, my tacticians, and welcome to a tactician's guide to shiny hunting or SOS chaining, especially through the SOS chaining. Now, first of all, you're going to be wanting to, if you want to SOS chain for shinies, but you also want to make sure you have a specific nature, well, this is a very good guide for you to watch because it's going to include all of the steps that I go through when I'm actually beginning a shiny chain. Especially if I'm going for a competitive natured shiny. It's not guaranteed to do it all the time, but it is guaranteed to at least get you a shiny nature that you want. Especially if you want it competitively viable. So first of all, you're gonna need to want to do certain steps. You're gonna need at least 3 specific Pokemon if you're going to be chaining for a shiny. So first of all, you're going to want a Synchro Pokemon. Personally, I like to use Umbreon and Espeon. Reason why is because those two have the most competitive viable natures that you can actually use to shiny chain for, and they have very decent enough stats to, chain at pretty much any level whether you're chaining for say I don't know, something on say Pony Island or Melee Island, especially for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I've been testing this method and it worked in Sun and Moon, and the same method will probably still does work for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. This is also a good way to get, competitively viable natured Pokemon for breeding. So, as I said, first of all, you're going to want a Synchro Pokemon. You're going to want this Pokemon in the lead. You'll understand why in a few moments. So, we're going down the Synchro nature. Next, you're going to want to get yourself an Exeggcute. Now, the reason why you want the Exeggcute is because you want to give this Exeggcute the harvest ability, and nature really doesn't matter, but you do want to give it a Leppa Berry. So, for sake of argument, let's just say you want a adamant nature at Furfrous, but you also want to, chain for it indefinitely. You don't want to swap back into a false swiper. Well, this is what Exeggcute is going to do. It has the harvest ability, and you're gonna want to teach it skill swap, whether it be through I believe it may be move tutoring. I believe move tutoring allows skill swap, or if you want to give it the egg move, Exeggcute egg move, and you're also gonna want to have it relearn Bestow. So this is where the Leppa Berry comes into play. So what you want to do is you want to skill swap the harvest onto the Pokemon you're chaining, and you want to bestow the Leppa Berry. Make sure it doesn't have something like, say, make sure it doesn't have an item. Make sure the Pokemon you're shiny hunting is not carrying an item. Otherwise, bestow will not work. And finally, speaking of false swiper, you're gonna want a Pokemon that uses false swipe for pretty obvious reasons. So I'm gonna go into a Furfrou, gonna go find a Furfrou here, and gonna see if I can, demonstrate what I am talking about. So I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, and here we go. We have found our Furfrou. So this is we're gonna be starting off, we're gonna be pretending we're setting up ourselves for a chain. So, first of all, we're going to want to swap our Synchro Pokemon. As I said, lead with your Synchro Pokemon. There's a reason why. And I will explain that as soon as we get to going back to my Synchro Pokemon. I'm going to go back to Artemis in a moment. But first, I want to bestow the Leppa Berry onto the Furfrou here. So, Furfrou's going to go for baby doll eyes. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. I'm going to bestow a Leppa Berry onto the Furfrou. So, as I said, now the Furfrou has the Leppa Berry. Keep this in mind, people. So, now that we've gotten the Furfrou to take the Leppa Berry, now we're going to skill swap the harvest ability onto the Furfrou. And what this will do is, every time Furfrou uses up a Leppa Berry, so as it goes through all of its moves, as it starts to run out of moves, it will consume the Leppa Berry. And what the harvest ability does is it will ensure that at the end of the turn, it will have like a 50% or so chance of, recovering the Leppa Berry and, using it again. So actually, I'm going to turn down the volume of the game just in case you can't hear my voice over the game. But in any case, we're going to go back now into Exeggcute, or not out of Exeggcute, and into my false swiper. so now my Lurantis here, my Totem Lurantis, thank you very much, Bestow, for giving me Totem Lurantis, is going to false swipe this Furfrou. So, bam, one false swipe, and it's down to 1 HP. So, doesn't matter there that we are losing, stats with the accuracy, but now we can go into our Synchro Pokemon. So, if you lead with your Synchro Pokemon, or if you go with your Synchro Pokemon, whatever Pokemon is in the lead, Synchronize will give any Pokemon that appears through SOS calls. So Furfrou is going to call for help now. Now, the next Furfrou that comes out will have a 50% chance of having whatever the lead Pokemon is, depending on which Pokemon is in the lead, because of my Synchronize ability. In this case, Artemis, my Umbreon, he's going to have an adamant nature. So there's a 50% chance that the Furfrou will have an adamant nature. Will have an adamant nature, and so you can indefinitely chain for this Furfrou. So I'm gonna demonstrate here once again. I'm gonna be demonstrating. I'm just gonna go for Feint Attack, and the reason why I like using Umbreon for SOS chaining, because of Feint Attack. If you're running up against Pokemon that have evasion skills, such as this Furfrou here with Sand Attack, reducing accuracy, it doesn't matter. Feint Attack is gonna burn through them, and it's gonna kick their butt. So Furfrou didn't call for help, so that's not good for me. So I'm just gonna use another Adrenaline Orb. Furfrou's gonna go for Baby Doll Eyes. It's trying to win my Pokemon's heart. Too bad I am not falling for those shenanigans. All right, I am not falling for those shenanigans. So. Alright, there's another Furfrou. So, we're just gonna pretend for the sake of argument that this Furfrou is shiny. Alright, we have, soft reset for a soft reset for a shiny Furfrou. And I know that Furfrou on the left is not shiny, nor is the one that we're using to SOS chain. But for the sake of argument, we're gonna pretend that the new Furfrou is shiny. Or it's a Pokemon we're going to be breeding and we want a competitive nature. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pretend that the new Furfrou is exactly what we want, whether it be shiny or breeding, just for breeding purposes. And we're gonna knock out the old Furfrou. We no longer need it. It's gone through 70 chains, or 70 plus chains. The Pokemon the Furfrou that just appeared is 4 IVs, blah blah blah. And now we're gonna try to catch it. So for the sake of argument, we're going to pretend it is shiny, and we are going to throw. I want to put this Furfrou. I don't know. We're gonna put this Furfrou into a Dusk Ball just for the sake of argument. Just for the sake of argument, we're gonna put it in the Dusk Ball. Into the ball it goes. So there goes Furfrou, and it's been caught. Woohoo! Alright, we've caught ourselves a Furfrou, people. So let's check the nature of our Furfrou. So let's see if the Furfrou did indeed, if the Synchro worked for the Furfrou. So 50% chance that it will have the nature we want, which is adamant. So let's see if we got what we wanted. Alright, and there you go. Adamant natured Furfrou. Just like we were hoping for, just like we wanted. Now, obviously, this Furfrou is not going to have the minimum 4 IVs, because obviously that was only the third Furfrou we chained for. But you can see the method behind what I'm doing. You're using the skill. You're gonna use the skill link, or you're gonna use skill swap to give the nature of the harvest ability of Exeggcute to the Pokemon you're going to be using to SOS chain. And what this does is allows you to chain indefinitely. So if, say, you want to continue, you don't want to pause a chain, but you also don't want to, like, say your 3DS is running out of power and you want to recharge it, but you also want to stop chaining and you want to do something else, you can just, you can just close your 3DS, you can pause your chain, you can preserve the chain, and you can just pick it up at any time, and you don't have to worry. The Pokemon you're SOS chaining, you don't have to remember, oh crud, how many moves does it have left? You don't have to worry, because the Leppa Berry and the Harvest ability will ensure that it never runs out of moves. So you can chain it indefinitely. All you have to remember is to not KO it. And if you have your Synchro Pokemon, as I said, you can synchronize for the nature you want, and you will have a 50% chance of getting the nature you want, which is precisely what we got here with just the second furfur we called in. So if that had been a proper SOS chain for a shiny, now you know how it's done. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. I will bring you some more interesting stuff I learned as I, go through the Alola region. Until next time, I'm Imperator Davius, your Fedora Reshiram. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!